In today's episode, we are going to sit down with founders Janosch and Julianne from Coconat Space, which is about an hour and a half train ride outside of Berlin. It's a workaway retreat, so you can do co-living here, you can do work retreats. There's so much going on, and I'm really excited to talk to them. So I plan to talk to them about them being founders, working together as a couple and also working on a business, having kids and having a business. How does all of that work? She's American, he's German. How is it to do all the cultural things here? And also they are big on sustainability and integrating with the local community. So all of these things I resonate with, and this is going to be an amazing episode and I can't wait to talk to them. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before we get started, we just want to give a shout out to Office R&D, who is our sponsor on today's episode. They are a co-working management software company that helps workspaces around the world deliver better experiences to their customers. They share our values of promoting and championing remote work, and they've been our biggest supporters since day one. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm so excited that we finally had some time to sit down and talk. You guys are very important and busy people. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And just to make sure I can say your name right, is Janosch?
Janosch.
Janosch. So German.
Yeah. No, it's Hungarian actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know.
You can say like ja, no, sh.
Janosch.
Yeah. Cool. It's my favorite thing.
And
Julianne.
Julianne. Yes. Okay, cool. And Julianne, you're from St. Louis, yeah?
Yeah.
So American in Germany, I love it. And you are originally from Germany?
I'm from Germany, yeah.
Okay, but you have a Hungarian name.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just so we got that covered.
Yeah, and we live in the countryside, like deep.
Deep in the East Germany.
In the East German countryside.
Germany. Okay, awesome. So one thing I would love to ask is, you guys started Coconat 7 years ago, is that correct?
We started working on it 7 years ago.
We wrote one concept paper 7 years ago.
So that's when the baby idea was born, and it has grown into a big adult now. Okay, so tell me why. This is one thing I like to start with in our interviews is, what sparked you guys to do this? You could be doing 500 other things. So why are you putting your heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears into this project?
I mean, I always like to talk about, like, because in the very, very, very beginning, like, Janosch and I are kind of like a weird couple. And we were like, we decided that we would start a company together. And so we were like looking for ideas. We were brainstorming. He always had weird ideas, like funny ones, like a pickle, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And then eventually we came to this idea and we were like, yeah, no, that's a good idea. So like for me personally, part of it was about like creating something totally new, finding a unique idea that we could grow, because I'm kind of coming from a creative art background. For me, that was like super important, that it should be a new concept. And then also for me personally to keep going on it is that for me to continue to have passion for a project is that I think I'm having a great impact on people's lives. So I want to have a positive impact on the world and on other people's lives. And that keeps me really driven in this project. So that's how I'm still going after 7 years. That's awesome. In it.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say...
Hold on, first, what is the pickle thing? What's the pickle idea? I want to know.
Okay, let's start with this. So we wanted to start a company and I had a lot of good ideas, not weird ideas.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
The pickle idea was actually like in the Berlin region, they eat a lot of pickles, pickled gherkins. So, and you know tapas in Spain. So I had the idea to develop Berlin tapas, which would be that with each beer you get a pickle. And the business idea behind it was actually that we sell the advertisement on the pickle plates.
That's amazing. That's so Berlin of you. Are you originally from Berlin?
No, I'm not originally. Okay. I've moved around a lot.
Okay. So why, tell me, what's the soul of it for Coconat for you? Why are you here?
Now, I also had like the decision to make. It was like just one of these turning points in life where I had to see how I want to go on. I was always working as a freelancer, then I tried to work as an employee. I didn't like it very much, even if it was a very nice job. But then I thought like, okay, I want to do something more permanent, not like jumping from project to project. And so I also thought like would be interesting to get to know the business sector. Yeah, and then had all those good ideas. And then we decided together that we jump on this coconut idea. And the reason for me why we picked this besides others is like I did want to have a brick and mortar startup. I wanted like a real something, a product or like a place, something you can actually touch. I didn't want to have a like only digital product because it feels like, what is it? It's nothing you can really feel. So, and for sure, I never lived in the countryside in my whole life. So this was something for me like something which drove me like to take this decision. So, and yeah, now we are out here.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And just so everyone knows, it is a very small town out here, but it's like amazing and beautiful, and you can go hiking. And I was on a phone call with a friend back in California yesterday, and I was showing her the property, and she was like, "It looks like you're on the set of Pride and Prejudice," because it's like beautiful and like, you know, like a mansion and all this stuff. And I was like, "Yes, I am. That's my life now."
Yeah.
But one thing I want to ask you, just because I've lived in it for a couple days now, inside of your manifestation. So what was it when you first started? What did you actually want to do with Coconut? Because I think it's morphed from what I've heard from you and other people. Is what was your original service or product when you guys first started?
I mean, the very original thing was to create a place for people from the city to kind of escape the city. And a really original was focusing on media work. So filmmakers, mostly like film industry we were considering. And when we did the first numbers, we were like, okay, and to build proper editing suites, it's like millions. So then we were like, and then I was already working in co-working, so it really quickly switched over to actually anybody who's doing digital work.
Gotcha.
And to make it easy for them to find a place close to nature, to get away from the city, to get new inspiration, and be productive. So that was like the first idea. And then over the years, it really transformed into what we have now.
And what would you guys say is your offering now? Because I can say what I've seen, but I want to know what you guys, like from your end, what is your offering?
The offering is basically what also the name says, Coconut, like a place for concentration, like where you can work very concentrated on your project, like out of your daily routines from the city, a place for community where you meet other like-minded people, or also people from different sectors of society maybe you wouldn't run into normally, like maybe from bigger corporates or from like digital nomads, or like, but inspiring people. So creating inspiration through community. And the third one is like nature. So this is actually, I think the name describes really well that like this Coconut, like community and concentrated work in nature. This is also what we offer. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what I've seen here this week is it's been people who are working on like Rasmussen Plus, like European funded entrepreneurship projects. So they're here and they're doing like work trade and stuff like that, but they're also like very much the foundational of the community here, and they've been amazing people to talk to. I've like made some really good friends. Yeah. And then I've seen, you know, I guess what I would consider like digital nomad people who are working on like online stuff, and also, or maybe even a thesis or something. And then I see like work retreats happening here all at once. And I've actually never seen that before in one place. So it's been really interesting for us to experience it. And I'm learning a lot as I go, like from how you guys are doing things. So kudos to you for just being like, we're gonna go for this and do it. Because I think it's still an experiment, right? You're still like figuring out how it all meshes together and everything. So how does that feel for you guys to be kind of just doing all of it?
I mean, it was like a learning process. I mean, when we started, like, so we opened this place 2 years ago, and we said, okay, no rules in the beginning, and like, well, let's see what happens. And so we were really allowing ourselves to test a lot of different things, and we have tested things, and some things now we don't really do, and some things we are we realized that we kind of have to do for having like an economically sustainable business. Yeah, so like one of the things that was unexpected is actually that like how many bigger groups that we have. So say more than 15 people is when we start to consider it like a bigger group. And that was something we had to get used to in the beginning. Like, do we want that? I mean, they don't interact so much with the community. So, but now what we've managed to do is kind of find a way that they can coexist, and they're not really taking away from each other, and it's okay. And sometimes there is some mixing, but we've accepted also that we can have these different groups here, and that everything is actually okay.
Yeah.
We tried to control. I personally, like, I was trying to like do some. Sorry, I just touched the thing. I was trying to do some social experiments more in the beginning with the groups, like really trying to force people to interact. But it felt really awkward and unnatural, and so I kind of stopped, and now I've made peace with it. I'm like, okay, like this works. And yeah, I mean, we are also coming from this new way of approaching businesses. So like we have always thought like, okay, we're going to be flexible. We're going to test things. We're going to see if they work. We're going to see how they feel. And then we're going to develop. So we don't ever like make a plan and do it. We are always like testing things out. We're always getting feedback from people. Yeah, and that's how the whole thing is developed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's important, like, because the team retreats, they are like a developed market. You know, they were seminars, hotels before and stuff. And we do need this developed market for our business to make it sustainable.
For sure, you need stable income.
But it's to generate income for sure. Yeah. If you have a group of 15 booking, then you have 15 people in one booking. So it's like makes a much more, creates more turnover for sure.
And how many people can you have here if everything's completely full?
Now, with paid guests, it's 64 beds plus team. So in total, we have about place for about 74 people.
That's insane. Yeah. I just want everyone to know that that's insane, like in a really good way.
Plus caravans.
Oh yeah, plus camping and stuff.
Glamping.
So actually glamping.
Glamping.
Camping, hanging tents.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the most amount of people you've had at one time?
The biggest number we had was 90 people for lunch and dinner. Like we had a group of 50 who was not sleeping with us. But they're an amazing project. So they're an amazing project, and part of the experience they wanted to create was that each participant got their own single room, which we don't have the capacity for. So we said, yeah, you can stay at another place and then do all of your activities here, which is what they did. So that was actually amazing. It worked. Like it was, we had like our normal eating room that was co-working. We had 10 individual co-workers. We had this group of like mixed of German and African startups, like doing this, they were like this special event, doing like pitch practice and stuff. And they did like a big pitch competition at the end, and then two teams. And like at meal times, that's when you were like, okay, that's a lot of people.
Because you guys provide all the meals too. I think that's really important to say.
Oh yeah, we eat at the same time. So
and you guys all the meals are cooked in house from your team. Yeah. And it's all like really good vegetarian, organic yumminess. Just put a plug in for that.
That makes sense.
I mean, in summer it's more easy, no? Then we have like all the outside areas, so we can host a lot more people, like because they're spread out.
And you have, that's another thing too, is like you guys have Wi-Fi all the way in the back by the pond. And I was like on a FaceTime call yesterday using the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yes, I'm in Germany. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Because you cannot do that in a lot of parts of the world. Like the Wi-Fi doesn't work.
Yeah. But that's even special for Germany. I mean, like, like in Berlin.
No, we have all the antennas all over. It's like a puzzle where you like, okay, there have to be another one and another one.
Trying to like expand your Wi-Fi.
Yeah. It's grown over.
That's awesome. Well, one thing everyone always asks, because it's like this, of course we're sitting here and it's a success story at this point. I'm just going to say that it is, because it is. What do you feel like was one of the biggest obstacles? Because I know we were talking this morning about real estate stuff that's happened in the past. But what is something where you were like, I don't know if I can keep going with this project? Because I think that's real and I want to share that with people.
Biggest obstacles for sure were real estate. I mean, we started without own resources. We didn't have like financial resources. could use to buy a big property. So in the beginning, it was like our reputation, like we had just a crazy idea, and a couple of years ago nobody believed in it. So this was like to convince a bank or like the
people with money didn't believe in it.
People with money also didn't, like, seemed too risky. Now it's like changed completely. Like now I think we made the way for the new people who start similar businesses.
Yeah, you guys are paving the way.
Yeah, like we're paving the way. But this was a big obstacle. Like it took us forever to get the money to buy the place. And then like we also like to learn all about real estate, what you actually have to look for. I don't know.
So you were saying your last property, basically you had to give up on it, like the landlord was too hard to deal with, and that
we had a different place before. Like the first place we had, we put a lot of energy in, like we did a crowdfunding campaign, burned all the money there, and like to enable the place to work was not like a not renovated place. And we did indoor camping, like it was really cool. But then in the end, with the landlords, we couldn't find a way that, to coexist there actually, because then they thought, okay, it's working, so we could make some money out of this maybe.
So they got greedy.
Yeah, but this is not the case. You cannot, like the business doesn't create so much money from the beginning that you can like really renovate like a historic building which costs you millions. This is not the turnover.
And I mean also there one of the biggest obstacles was the internet. I mean so even the relationship, like getting a contract with the landlords was never going to happen. But on the other hand, like we did a test and we spent 5 months trying to get good internet there, and it was actually impossible. So we had satellite, we had LTE, and we were talking with telecoms and politicians like, hey, how can we get this place connected? And it was not really going to happen for less than 50,000 euros. So we that turned into one of our biggest priorities for the next stage of real estate. So we knew, like when we started there, we were very naive. We thought, you can make anything happen. But actually we couldn't make that happen. So
also public transport. Like there's like the difficult thing is you want to have a remote place, which is like in the middle of the nature, but you want like have perfect public transport, fast internet.
You want everything. But you guys found, I mean, you built this, hold on, before we go on, how did it feel when you had to walk away from that place?
Pretty shit.
Yeah.
If I can say a bad word on this thing. Yeah, I mean, when we had to decide to I mean, it was like there was another hardship which we can just briefly mention is that we also had a different founding team. So like we did the test there. We decided, the four of us, eventually one by one. Actually, it took some people much longer to let that go. And that was like, I mean, for us, like a huge low. I mean, we left there, we had our 1-year-old daughter. We went back to Berlin kind of feeling defeated, and like, but still thinking that we had a good idea. So but it was hard. I mean, we had zero money at that point. I mean, like, one lucky thing with Germany is that there's social help for starting businesses. So we were able to access that, but it's still like nothing. I mean, we were broke people, and we were like not knowing if we were going to actually do this project or not. And then we kept going. I don't know how we really did it sometimes, because it was pretty we were pretty low. And I mean, but we did keep going, and we did. And then we finally found this place. And at that point we were like, okay, it can really work here. Like we knew there was internet, we knew there was public transportation, there was other things that were not like great, like we have a road, but that also means that people can get to us. So we had to like measure those things, and then we did it. And we started without having the financing, and like that was pretty crazy. So, but
oh my God, I feel like
finally it worked.
That like really resonated with me a lot, because there's so many times where I've worked on a project or a business where I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I don't know how I'm going to keep going.
And you never know how it's going to end. Like if you do this all for nothing, or if there's actually like a happy end You don't know why you're in the crisis.
I mean, that's the whole like starting a business thing. I mean, I would go through different phases and still, I mean, now it's like much different because I'm pretty feeling good about the project. But, you know, I would be like, okay, the worst case is that this doesn't work out and I've decided what I've done with the last few years of my life. And I've made that decision and I was in total control of my experience. So I was like, okay, that is good. And I can take that. Even if this doesn't work, I have to take that with me. So that would be like this sort of entrepreneur thing. I mean, like it's always a gamble, isn't it? I mean, starting a business. So.
And afterwards, everybody says it was clear that it works. Like we always believed in it. And
you're like, where were you when
I mean, we did have a lot of support from friends and family. I mean, they were always with us. So
yeah.
That's cool.
But I know what it feels like to be on the inside of that when you're the only ones that talk to each other. And sometimes that's why I want to ask the next is like, how is it as a couple on top of all of that stress and having a kid? And like, I know what it feels like to work in a business with my partner. And there's days where we're just like fighting all day long. And we're like, why are we even doing this? Like, is this ruining our relationship? Like, is it worth it? Blah, blah, blah. But in the end, you know, it does feel like it's worth it. So but I want to ask you guys, how has it been working together?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I was doing business or like all the projects. I started other things in my life, and I always did it with my best friends, and also with my partners I had before you. So it's kind of something I'm used to, and I think it's very nice to develop something like this with a person you love and you want to be with. But for sure, it's a challenge. It's like difficult to divide like work time and leisure time, and have time for romantic moments when you're having a stress situation in the company. So it's a challenge, but it's worth it, I would say.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's not also, like any relationship, I think like they don't just happen. I mean, there's a lot of work that went into finding these ways and asking for help. I mean, we also had to do that at some point, and I think it's okay to talk about it. I mean, it's not easy, but I would say we're in a really great place now. Like we found a lot of ways to like deal with that. I mean, finding the separation of time, making space for ourselves and ourselves as a couple, ourselves as a family. It's really important. I mean, I can say like on the positive side, like we had like the experience of having a kid together while doing the same project. And so what we didn't have to do that other people have to do is like fight for the time, like, you know, your pre-parent time, you have tons of it, and then all of a sudden you've got this kid to take care of too. And I always understood what he was working on, and he always understood what I was working on, so there was no like having to explain that actually my career is also really important to me because we were doing the same thing. So like as the mother and as the woman in the relationship, I can say I saw my other female friends going through the same sort of phase in their relationship, but with different projects. And they had a much tougher time. And usually the woman, it still happens, usually the woman was the one that stayed home longer. And from the beginning, I think she was just like a couple months old where we're like, okay, every other day is like your day, my day, your day, my day. I get to concentrate, you get to concentrate. Like that was something that like actually was really special, like for us as a couple to be doing this project together, I think. And also, I mean, that we're growing on the same path is also really cool.
Yeah.
So.
And you get like kind of a funding through the kid.
because an extra thing.
No, it was like because in Germany you get 15 months of how it's called
parental leave.
Parental leave, and 15 months of parental leave is quite a.
Yeah, we did our business development with our like parental leave. We did. That. We went to. That's actually when we went to Bali. Like we went for 5 weeks to Asia, like with our parental leave money, and like spend time like the three of us, and then we like,
That's so cool.
We did a lot of our business stuff then.
You would never have that in America.
No, exactly. That's why I said it's like.
No, there's some really. I mean, like, I'm totally pro taxes and social systems. I mean, I benefited from it here.
Yeah.
like as an American, like I can tell you I'm super, like I am kind of proof that this stuff can work. I mean, like if you're able to access funds to like help you just like be able to like to work on your own vision, it can really work, and good things can happen, and I really appreciate it here. Like,
that's cool. Did you guys get help with being able to access those funds? Like how do you, I think that's one thing that people always ask me too, because I've done that myself, and people are like, how did you find those funds? Or was it that you just knew where to look, or you had friends that were telling you, or did you just know as a German that we have this thing?
I mean, I'm having a little bit of fundraiser background, like, but in the non-profit area. But so I was familiar with this kind of topics, and then there is funds to get consultancy on funding, for example. So we had like or we still have a really nice financial advisor who supports us with this.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But I think like that funding, you kind of had special knowledge of. I mean, like, because people do ask us still, and so we,
with
this first fund that we got for the business development. I mean, that is because of your fundraising background.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think it's just good to put out there, you know, because people are like, well, like they think that there's a big separation between someone who has it and doesn't have it, and I really think it's just the knowledge of how to get it.
Yeah. I think like this, and well, like what we got was basically like pre-seed money. I mean, like this is like. We had the idea, and then Janosch really knew about this program that we could do basic biz dev with. You know, like we got a marketing coach and a finance coach who told us even like, they told us about like parts of the business that we weren't even aware of, where to do research, how to put that in your business plan. So this was pre-business plan funding that we got.
That's amazing.
And that was really, really cool. I mean, we learned a lot.
And we wrote like a real, like really too long business plan, like 80 pages or something, so nobody reads it, but it's really thought through, you know.
People do read it, which is weird.
Yeah, some people read
I think that's like one day, you know, when you're giving back, when you have more time, you're not like doing crazy amounts of things. I think that would be something that I know so many people would benefit from if you had like a course or just like here's a weekend away, we're going to teach you what we know. Because I know for you guys, you're like, we just did it and it's a thing and now we're moving on to other things. But I think that a lot of people get stuck in that.
Yeah, but especially this grants, they're so regional. This is a problem, no? I mean,
it's specific to where you live.
Yeah, it really depends. I mean, there's some European grants, but most is like very regional.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I live in Thailand. Being an American in Thailand, there is no grants for me. I'll just tell you that. I'm just out there in the Wild West.
Yeah.
But I want to finish the interview by really putting in a plug for what you guys are doing with your sustainability, if I can say the word, and working with the local economy, because local community. Oh my God, I can't talk. So tell me more about what your guys' goals are with being sustainable here and how much you want to integrate with the local community, because this is something that I really care about a lot, and I don't think people are doing this, and I think there's a big opportunity to do this in our industry.
Yeah.
Maybe I tell about it. I mean, we always wanted to, we always believed that we can only develop the business here by considering the surrounding. We never want to be a UFO which just landed here. We always wanted to grow with the community around us and take the impulses from the village around. So in the beginning we did a lot of efforts to integrate them, like we did, or we still do. We like workshops with them about what are their dreams about this old important historic building. We did parties with them and so on. So I think we are really well integrated. Like last weekend there was a party from the Dorf, a village association, and they said we are not the newies anymore. We are like
oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
we are residents here.
Aww.
And they want to do their village party again on our property. So on this personal level, like this was an important thing that they were afraid because we speak English, they don't, no? Because it's like the former socialist part of Germany and so on. And I think this we managed really well to find this personal level. And after we managed this, we went, we went like deeper in and said we also want to develop the region in a way what we think what a positive development is, like in a socially, economical, environmental, sustainable way. And we founded a project which is called Smart Village, which is a network of places, and also the communities, the cities are in it. And it's about how to use digitalization for making living and working in the countryside better. Mm-hmm. And it's like very bottom up. So there's already like, I don't know, 20 projects actually when I look at the list. It's like awesome. Crazy, like from all different fields, mobility, media, I don't know, whatever. And so we got a funding for this, and we found an association for this. And so, yeah, there's a lot of new things popping up around us now, also different, like new places, new initiatives. So yeah, and we are kind of in the middle of this. So you're starting
that ecosystem here.
Yeah, we try to make, like, I mean, one thing is like to take the people who were already living here with you. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is like making the countryside like a place for, however you call it, modern, innovative life, like that. Not like all the innovation always happens in the cities. Mm-hmm. And there is a big players leading the way to the digital age. Yes. Yeah, era, like so that it's like a more democratic way, that like the people here in the countryside are like the ones who are leading the process in their field, no? In the like how can whatever.
Yeah, it's about like, I mean, from the beginning, it's always been about sort of like developing the value of the place. So I mean, like, so for the people who live here, that they feel valued, that they value the place that they already have, and for the people who visit to not only value visiting us here, but also everything that's around and what that means, and that they also can be involved in this place. So I mean, that's where when our visitors come, not everybody, but like some of them are already doing projects now here in the countryside. I'm sure that there are people who didn't imagine that they'd be doing like an augmented reality tourism project in Brandenburg, or developing an app for the small cities here. So this was like kind of like fantasy realm for us a couple of years ago, and that it's already happening after less than 2 years is actually like, it feels really, really good. And that the village, that they trust us, that they come here. They're not, I mean, they still don't 100% always get like what we're doing, but that they feel comfortable enough to come here, that they want to do their village party here, that they do come in for coffee sometimes. Like, that feels good. So we are a part of this community, and we're doing our best to like use what we're doing to have a positive effect with everybody that's here. So the neighbors and the visitors.
How did you approach that? Because there's people who come in and they're like, we're doing this thing, but did you, like for the Smart Village thing, did you meet with them, or how does that work? I
mean, like, I would just start from the beginning, because like, so like our backgrounds, like we were working already in like sustainable tourism, and I was working in environmental work in more like developing economies. And there it's like standard practice to like think about what effect you have on the community, and having a positive effect on the community. So that was like always in our mindset. Like we were like, we're coming here, we're approaching it the same way we always do. And before we even started anything, we had like a design thinking like workshop here on site, and we invited 30 people from this community and 30 people from Berlin to come together. And this is what he was talking about dreaming, about like what could be here, what's the potential of this place. And that's how we started, because that's what we wanted the people to know, not only what we were planning, but that they also can be a part of the plan. So that was like the open invitation. And we also found right away, we found a community leader who's still very much a friend of us. And I mean, without him, I don't think we could get a lot of stuff done. So like identifying people in the community that you're about to be in, if you're not from that community, is super important. It's really important to find them, to get their knowledge and to show that you appreciate that they know a lot of stuff that you don't know. I mean, I think that's important.
You guys were saying you'd worked in Vietnam before, right?
Yeah. And
I see that so much in Asia, and just like white people going into developing countries and saying, we're going to give this to you without talking to them and asking if they really want it.
What do you need?
Yeah, like what do you actually need? Is this a good thing for you? Are you even ready for this? Or like what is the immediate needs? And I think so that's why I wanted to like really put that in.
We had this workshop and they said what they want. They want to have an event place where they can have parties, and we gave this to them. They want to have the election, a place where they can have the elections. They're so here now.
I know, I love that we're going to have the election.
Like they wanted the firefighters to stay on property. We said yes. So they also, we didn't say we ask us and we give it to you and then we didn't give it to them. We made these things happen, so they also trust us. And I think like these places, they have like a big potential because they're not digital places. Like there's digital workers here, but they're real places, so they can offer a lot of functions which got lost in the countryside. Like there's no local pub here, there's no shop here, there's no community hall here or anything. So, but like we do have a place who can also provide this traditional places which got lost in the history of rural areas. Yeah.
So a place to bring the communities together, basically.
Yeah, like a meeting place. So.
I think I did see that actually. Someone was in there having coffee yesterday, and I was like, I don't think he's from here. And then now it makes sense. He's probably just.
I think it was Frank actually.
Like a bigger guy.
The forest guy? Or?
Oh no, the foresters. No.
But who's Frank? Tell me.
He's like the community leader guy. I mean, he's like the one. Yeah. He's the one that showed us this place the first time. Like he showed us around. And I know he was here yesterday, but maybe more in the late evening.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for like one, hosting us, and two, just letting us sit down and take some of your precious time. And I know that this video is going to help a lot of people. For people who are thinking of coming to Coconut, for people who, you know, have never heard of what remote working is or co-workations or anything, and also for people who are founders. And because I think that there's a lot of impact that you guys are making, and I really want other people to listen to that and do that as well, because you are paving the way in your own way. I know sometimes you're in the bubble and you don't realize it, but just know you're doing really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, nice to have you.
Yeah.
And good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's cool.
I loved talking to them. That was so awesome. You know, the thing that I really took away from it was how to deal with the uncertainty of being a founder and, you know, things going wrong and not really knowing where it's going to end up, but finding that drive to keep going, leaning on your support network, and just as a couple too, you can find that in each other. So I just love talking. I'm super pumped, and I feel like people should talk about that more, you know, the hard parts that it takes to get to where they are. It took them 7 years to get here. But I'm just proud that I was able to sit down and have a conversation with them, and they're just really cool people. So I'm excited to share that with you. If you like the episode, hit like here. If you love what we're doing and you want to support us, subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified of all of our next episodes, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye guys.